Hello and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to tell you what's going on in the next couple of weeks, because I haven't done much on the channel because I was extremely busy writing, recording, doing support on Chessable. Many things were going on, and this leads to a couple of products coming up, or things getting released. So what do I want to talk about in this video? First of all, there has been a release 12 days ago of a black repertoire, the lifetime repertoire on the Nimzo-Indian and Rogozin, a cooperation between FIDE Master Daniel Barish and myself. It's on now for 12 days, and we already have more than 500 happy students of this repertoire. The reason why I want to mention it again is that there is an introductory sale for this product, and this is going to end. You see the counter here. It's going to end in 1 day, 10 hours from this recording time. So from the time as this video is released, you've got about a day, a little bit more, to still benefit from the reduced introductory offer. So it's just $20 instead of 30, or 85 with video instead of 160. So it's a pretty steep discount. Also, I don't think it will be on sale all that soon again. We have sales usually for Black Friday, but I'm not sure that that's going to be on sale again that shortly afterwards. I mean, I'm not responsible for everything in that regard, but if you are interested in a black defense against 1d4, it's a full repertoire based on the Nimzo and Rogozin. It also has the Catalan and offbeatish tries. It's a good thing to go for this now, as you can save quite a bit of money. Also, a good thing to mention is that on Chessable, all those repertoires are not set in stone, but rather supported and improved all the time based on user feedback. We recognized that, for example, the coverage of some variations was too light. There was a need for more variation, and these are currently added. So we have a product that is going to be improved over time. So this is a bit of an urgent thing, because if you want to get it at a better price, like 1 day, about some hours time left to do so. The other thing is I want to announce, and I mentioned this on and off in some cases, what the next thing is going to be. We've got one more thing. Okay, and this is going to be the following. I'm going to switch to a board now. There is a course coming up, and it's going to be released on November 11th at 11:11 a.m. Central European Time. So it's easy to set this into your calendars if you are interested in the whole subject in the first place. So we are going to release a full black repertoire on Chessable based on the Sicilian Sveshnikov as the main line, and it's called Fight Like Magnus, the Sicilian, because Magnus Carlsen has about 1 year ago started to play this opening again. He did so earlier in his career in the World Championship match against Fabiano Caruana, and did so with excellent success in the course of this year. As you probably know, Magnus hasn't lost a tournament game, a classical time control game, for now I think 101 games or something, and that means he has never lost with this new, for him, or refreshed black repertoire as well. So this repertoire will be a full repertoire based on the Sicilian defense, and I'm going to show you some things that it does include, so that you get an idea what this is all about. We have as the backbone, every Sicilian repertoire needs the open Sicilians as a backbone. We have the Sveshnikov. So I'm going to also play this move order. There are another way to go to the Sveshnikov, but Magnus always plays knight c6, and the Sveshnikov is this variation. And this is, I think, one of the, let's say, it's a bit difficult to coin that, but I think if you compare it to other Sicilians, there is one really great asset of this opening, or advantage of this opening. You with black are very rarely getting attacked on the king. Your king is always going to be rather safe, and the dynamic possibilities are often more on the black side than on the white side. This is a difference to many other Sicilian variations where black is sometimes getting strategic advantages, but it's attacked on the king. This is very typical for the dragon, the knight dwarf, some other variations. In the Sveshnikov, the play is decidedly different. This is mostly because black early on gets a pawn to e5, and that's an entirely different structure. In many other variations, white manages to push the e-pawn to e5, for example, or get an early kingside attack going with g4, g5. This is never happening in the Sveshnikov. In the Sveshnikov here, you have many fascinating and very, very sharp lines. For example, here, this is the continuation. If you look at lines like that, there are some amazingly attractive lines that you can go into. For example, if they take and you get this double pawn, you get to play f5 very early on to attack the white center. Black has a really great dynamic game, and that has been proven over the last, let's say, 40 years, since the Sveshnikov has been kind of reinvented by Sveshnikov and some other players from the Chelyabinsk area. It's sometimes called the Chelyabinsk variation. So I think this is a very attractive variation, and Magnus has done very well. Actually, Caruana never played into this variation. Caruana tried the move knight d5. This is currently having a bit of a revival on the top level, mostly because the traditional main lines like here or knight d5, which is a bit more of a strategic choice, these are considered to be totally fine for black, and therefore Caruana kind of unearthed this knight d5 idea to set some fresher problems. But here again, the play is very interesting. Here quite often you get a position like that, where later bishop e7 and f5 leads to an attack on the king side, because black has a pawn majority there. So for the open Sicilian, we have the Sveshnikov, a very attractive opening. I always like to play it. I played it a bit in the late 1990s, early 2000s, before I somehow got to play e5, but I'm definitely going to play the Sveshnikov again. And I tried, but I didn't get the opportunity. People played anti-Sicilians against me, which gets me to the next point. It's not all the time that you actually see that people play the open Sicilian. The open Sicilian is tricky. There are so many lines, and you will experience, if you actually get here, the starting point of the Sveshnikov, that many club players won't even go to b5. They play knight f3, knight b3, and this is really great because black in most of these lines actually even better. It's very difficult to handle all the open Sicilians, so many people go to play non-main lines. And of course, we have to deal with bishop to b5, the Rossolimo variation, after which I will suggest the move g6. This is what Magnus has played most often, and this is also leading to interesting struggles. Quite often you will get a structure like this. I'm just going to put the first couple of moves on the board, where you play e5 later and set up this pawn formation, the e5 c5 formation, and this is often called the Botvinnik formation. I mean, this name is already taken. Yeah? If it wasn't, you might as well call it the Carlsen formation, because he plays it a lot throughout. This repertoire will have this pawn formation very frequently. And the reasoning behind this is that black is putting those two pawns in the center and controls d4 as much as possible. And this means the center will be closed, and this gives us more opportunities to play on the flanks. In particular, the move f5 can lead to really fascinating complications. Yeah, very often we will play f5, sometimes f4, and go for an attack. Very interesting and fascinating possibilities. So this is something that will definitely happen. People play bishop b5 quite often nowadays because they feel the open Sicilian is a bit too much. Similarly, people try this move, for example, and that has been tried in a recent game against me, when I suggest e5, as Magnus almost always plays, again setting up this center formation. The idea later is to play f5 and get an attack on the king side. This is a common scenario that we later attack with f5. A line that also needs to be covered, and I have to say it's a full repertoire, it's a full Sicilian repertoire. We will also look at lines like c3, that can happen here, or also on move 2, happens more frequently on move 2, after which Magnus plays knight f6, and this is also what I recommend in the course. What I'm doing is I'm basically following his variation choice. Sometimes he has played 2 or 3 lines. When I had to pick one, usually I picked the most recent choice, or the one that felt like he means it like in the most serious way. Like if he played a certain line in classical 5 times and I don't know 3 times in blitz, I would take the one he chose for classical. In some cases, I feel I can improve on his play. It's possible. Of course, Magnus is the far better player. But if you, for example, take a blitz game where you played a move on, I don't know, move 12, and the computer and all the indications that I have show that a different move is better, I'm going to choose that if it is really clearly better than the one that he played. So against the Alpine, we have knight f6, and this is what he usually plays. Yeah, what you get on the club level quite often will be knight c3. By the way, it's also covered. We play knight c6, and whenever possible, I'm trying to play again an e5 based formation. This can happen, for example, if white plays g3, like this kind of close Sicilian, and then I'm going to recommend to play with e5 and set up a familiar pawn structure. This is what Magnus plays a lot, as mentioned, c5, e5, and whenever possible, I try to go into that direction. The same thing applies, for example, if white plays a variation like this. Yeah, you can play e5, g6, bishop g7, and I'm going to do that. So you have familiar patterns and structures as far as possible. Of course, in the Sicilian, white can play all kinds of sidelines, and we also cover those. Yeah, the somewhat odd moves like f4 or whatever, g3. This is not theoretically super relevant, but might happen in your games. So it's a full repertoire. It's meant to be yeah, to fight, really fight for a win. And this is I think with the Sicilian defense is the best possible way to do so, because you have a, let's say, yeah, a built-in non-symmetrical pawn structure. It's very rare that you have a yeah, getting to a dull position, really. Sometimes the lines, the sharper lines, can end up in crazy draws, like in 20-something moves. But this is just what happens if it's super complicated sometimes. So I'm looking forward to present this repertoire. We will have chessable coverage like in the normal like interactive move trainer course, and of course video. It will also feature yeah, sample games, some of Magnus's games, to illustrate the points, and maybe also strategic overview. It's tough. Yeah, we only have like 2 weeks until the release, and yeah, it's almost completed, but I'm still working on it. So it's not already a completely finished product. And the final thing I'd like to mention, what is coming up, and also something that I know many people are looking forward to. Of course, in June, early June, we released Keep It Simple 1D4 on Chessable, and it's nearing 1,000 students already. It's a great success and has been received very positively. And for this, I'm going to change the picture a little bit. There will also be a print book. Yeah, it's again released by New in Chess, and this is indeed a finished product from my end. I have submitted the text and everything, and I heard from New in Chess that they are almost done on their part. If you look at the homepage of New in Chess, it says expected in October and November. In October, no, that won't work. And very likely it will be November, late November, maybe early December, somewhere like that. It might be that it still be in the November. I think the US takes a little bit longer always. But this is what will happen. It's not entirely it's not something that I can influence. If they for take longer, it's not my call. Everything on my end has been done. But they said that late November, early December is a reasonable time. So it's still before Christmas, if you want a print book, yeah, on your under your Christmas tree, it will happen. So many things to look forward to. I hope you enjoyed the overview, and I'm keep you posted if new things happen. Also, I'd like to say that once this is done, and that is mid-November when the Sicilian has been released, I will thoroughly think about what to do with the channel. I'm definitely not closing it, but currently it's pretty dormant, and there something should be happening, but I'm not entirely sure yet what kind of thing I will do with it. Yeah, if I'll do instructional videos or again blitz games or whatever, I'm thinking about it. It's a bit difficult simply due to time constraints. I'm heavily involved with writing and everything, and I completely enjoy it. So it's something that I love to do, and I have to see that everything can kind of fit into a schedule that is manageable. All right, thanks a lot for watching. I'll keep you posted. Bye bye.